Hello, everybody. Welcome to Nintendo Pow Block here on Boss Rush Network. I'm your host, the Electric Excited Eddie V. Joining me is the one, the only Bossman himself, Mr. Corey Derrick. Hello, good sir.
Hello, Ed. It's almost tomorrow.
Yes, it is. Everybody, what a week. We have a packed family news. Corey, I would literally was asleep when you text me the news, and I'm like, wait, what?
Yeah.
And it's so funny. It's so funny. Last week, for final thoughts, I was like, Ninty, I need y'all to be talking. I need you to say something. And they said a lot. And a
hmm
little what was put out.
Yeah. I mean, there was we're gonna get into all of it in family news, but just we got confirmation about a direct in June, and we got, you know,
Mhm.
confirmation that they're gonna talk about the next console probably, like I said, probably around September or October, and it's gonna be, I'm telling you, the cycle for this showing the new console is gonna be exactly the same as the
Mhm.
Nintendo Switch, right? I mean, now we know it's coming, right? The announcement, instead of just like randomly drop
Yes.
a trailer, but also, like, I think a lot of people are anticipating this and they kind of know it, and I think they want to build the hype, because this is very unlike Nintendo to announce something like this, right? And so
Yes.
yeah, it's just I think Nintendo is right to just inform the audience, which is, something that we kind of ask them to do a lot of the time, and they really don't. But it's pretty exciting. I'm pretty excited to talk about Nintendo, mostly because the other company we really usually enjoy talking about is not so enjoyable to talk about right now, and yeah, I don't know if we'll get to that or not tonight, but um the situation
Yeah.
revolving around Microsoft and Xbox and Bethesda is um not
Interesting to
good.
say the least.
It's not good. So yeah, anyways, we're here.
Yes.
Uh 11:30. I'm very tired.
uh,
It's Ed's fault.
uh, yeah, it is my fault, everybody there. Let's just say family things and we'll leave it at that. Uh
Mm-hmm.
everything. Uh
Ed actually fell asleep and went out to get food, and then fell asleep again.
No, I went and got like checkers slash Raleigh seasoned fries and
See,
a 20-piece chicken nugget
dinner.
from no. So I was eating that way before we was gonna record. I was just like, let me get ready, let me eat, and then I get a text from my sister, then a text from my niece that they gotta go somewhere. And I'm like, are you serious?
Mhm. Yeah. Yep. hmm
So
Likely excuse.
um
Likely excuse, Edward.
I I deserve
You deserve a
the
smack on the
talking.
head, is what you deserve.
Yes. Yes, I deserve that. Um,
Anyways,
uh,
we're here. I'm going to do my best to stay awake this entire show. It's been a long couple days, but we're here. We're gonna do the thing.
yes.
We're gonna do
Um,
the thing.
well, how about we get into some housekeeping, Corey, and then we will roll on with the show. If you want to support Nintendo Pow Block and the Boss Rush Network, you can head over to our Patreon at patreon.com/Boss Rush Network, where you can get our supplemental show Expansion Pass 2 weeks early and ad-free and other perks like early access to other podcasts, voting rights, and more at the tier that's right for you. Again, that's patreon.com/Boss Rush Network. So, and um, I guess it's
You
time
okay,
for
man?
Snacktendo. I got all like Chipotle and chicken
Mhm.
nuggets. Like that's that. I mean that's what I had this week. I got my debit card, but I'll talk about that in final thoughts. Um,
That's fair.
Like I'm keeping it, dude. I'm literally keeping it like literally brief because I'm like, yeah,
That's
and
fair.
that's pretty much and oatmeal pies, the little Debbie ones.
Mm,
They are quite good.
mm. Ed, you seem a little stressed out right now. Are you okay? Am I stressing you out by yelling
You're
at
not
you?
stressing me out. You're not. No, it's I. I don't know if I should talk about it now or wait to the end of the show.
Well, we'll wait. It's fine. We got important
Okay.
things to talk about, Ed. Your life is not
Yes, we do.
important. We have Nintendo things to talk about.
Yes. At this time, yes. Trust me.
Oh man, I'm not really yelling at Ed. Everybody, calm down. I'm just being mean. It's okay. It's a big joke for all you people out there listening to episode 391 of this show that we still continue to do somehow on a weekly basis.
Yes.
Oh man. At least we have news to talk about, like real news, instead of like,
Okay.
oh, the Donkey Kong roller coaster is opening in
This
summer.
game is coming out. Yeah, yeah, it's let's just say it's been a whirlwind of news, everybody. But yeah, like I said, we'll get into the family news. But yeah, Corey, that's really pretty much all I been snacking on. I didn't. I do have the Eggo waffle milk at work. I'm going to try it for next episode, everybody. I did get my debit card, and I'll talk about that at on final thoughts um and everything. But yeah, that's pretty much it, Corey.
Mm, mm.
What about you?
Well, Ed, I had pizza and sushi tonight, and that's a
Yes.
strange combination, I know, but it was so we ate dinner at my sister-in-law's house for Mother's Day slash Sana's birthday. Uh
Oh, happy
and
birthday to
s-
her.
so we it was Tuesday, so it was last Tuesday, so you know.
Oh,
So you missed it. Good job. Great job,
oh.
Ed. Thanks for missing my wife's birthday. Uh I so the adults got sushi and the kids got pizza. Well, I'm really picky when it comes to sushi, and so I only had a
Mhm.
couple pieces of a couple certain kinds, and then I ate some of the kids' pizza because it looked good. So, oh man, 3 pieces of pizza and like 10 pieces of sushi. It's a strange combination, and my stomach doesn't exactly feel great,
Mhm.
but it's okay. Also, I think it's probably
Uh,
because I started drinking Monster again instead of Red Bull because it's cheaper, and um also they were out of the Red Bull that I like, so yeah.
ah, is
It's
that a new can?
it's
Uh,
it's
or,
the it's the ultra black, it's the black cherry one, and it's fine. It's just
oh,
I got it because it was the only one that would be here today and not like next week sometime, and I'm like, well, I need it tonight. So
where did you got that from? Amazon or?
yeah, yeah. I'm gonna have to open
Oh,
a
I didn't
second
even.
can because
Yeah,
it's gonna be a long one.
so I didn't know they had a black cherry flavor.
Yeah,
Um,
I've been drinking it off and on for years. I like it. It's like you know how sometimes you don't here's the thing. It's not my favorite kind, but
mhm,
sometimes I absolutely crave the black cherry taste. And so like once
yeah.
in a while I will just get a case of it because I want black cherry. Um the thing is like they only sell it in 12 packs or 24 packs, and I really only wanted like a couple. But I had to get a whole
Oh
case,
wow.
so like now I have to like I thought about just
So
like
I
holding
would.
on to the rest of them until I want it again
Yeah,
and just getting another thing, but I feel like Sana would yell at me if I did that. So
I may have to talk to our Coke representative and just see um why it's not sold in the stores. I like honestly, I didn't even know they had a black cherry flavor.
yeah,
Like
it's
I would
just
try
tastes
that.
like
I
this.
want to try it so bad.
free advertisement for Monster. If Monster Energy, if you want to sponsor our show, I will not say no. And I know a couple other people on staff will not say no either. Uh, so
Yes.
yeah,
Oh, okay.
man, let me tell you though, Domino's cheese pizza is like amazing. It
Oh,
really like
dude, Thursday, it was me and my associate closing, and we had Domino's. I did half pepperoni, half sausage. Man, that mug was hitting the spots.
yeah, it was very good. The kids got there was one double cheese pizza and two double pepperoni pizzas,
Mm-hmm.
and I think we got three because they knew I was gonna eat some, and so yeah. But yeah, I also we also had like they got a ton of desserts, and I'm like, so here's the thing, I'm I got made fun of a lot tonight because they all found out for the first time that I don't like ice cream cake, and
Oh,
like
wow.
they were kind of like baffled. But I had a really delicious cupcake and it was fine. But like I yeah, there's all kinds of weird desserts and stuff. So I don't know. It was fine. I was very tired
Hmm.
afterwards though. I wanted to take a nap. I almost fell asleep in my son's room while I was waiting for him to fall asleep. Uh,
Oh, wow.
yeah, yeah.
You just like the bros are the men of the men in the house. We're about to sleep. Nighty night.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah. I made a tombstone pizza this week and I found the right way to cook it. And I'm so happy. Now I just gotta try the Jack's pizza next time. Um and see if that same way that I cooked the tombstone, Jack's pizza would get cooked. Um, so but
It was
that's
delicious though. Man. Oh, also like there's this one sushi that we got that's like so the sushi I ate most of was the spicy shrimp roll, which is like my favorite
ooh.
one. Shrimp tempura and
Mhm.
spicy shrimp are my two favorites, which I know shrimp tempura technically isn't sushi because it's deep fried, but I don't care.
Yeah.
I also like the deep fried California also, but my wife likes to get it with cream cheese in it, like the California tempura with cream cheese in it, and it, like they deep fry it with the cream cheese inside of it, so like the cream cheese is like all melted and stuff, and
Hmm.
I'm not into it. I'd rather just have like the like something else to like whatever. But anyways,
The
I
avocado.
yeah, I mean the avocado's fine, but like I like the wasabi stuff that comes with it, and I like to spread it on the sushi, and it's very delicious. But I we got this one roll that I really like. It's like this it's like a low carb roll, and it's like
Mm.
instead of rice, it's wrapped in like some sort of lettuce or cabbage or something. And
Is
then
it like light brown?
no, it's green. It's and
Oh,
like
it's green. Okay.
and then inside is like carrots and uh avocado and celery and something else in it, and it's just so good. And you put a little bit of it comes with this orange dipping sauce that's very good. Oh, it's so good. It's
Hmm.
very good.
Interesting.
Yeah, I really enjoy it. It's delicious. So, but that's what I've been snacking on.
All right. Well, everybody, it's time for playing with power. And I've been playing Animal well.
Yeah,
Um,
Stephanie's
I
reviews
know a
up.
lot of people. Yes,
Botchups.net
go
if
check.
you are interested in
Yes,
that. So,
yes. It I it is a great game. As a Metroidvania. I spent most of my Friday playing that game. because I didn't get to play it Thursday when I brought it due to work. But I started playing it Friday, and I think I am almost halfway done with it, or 75% done with it. There are some more things that I need to do to get um some other powers and reach my reach my final goal. It really is a great game. I don't like the yo-yo usage in the game. There's a yo-yo power that you have that because I wish you could control it better, but you can't. It just starts going anywhere in which way. Um and I just like, okay. Um it is a directionless Metroidvania, so um because it doesn't tell you some things, they want you really to explore, even with the controls and um even with where you are going, what you find in that room and stuff. So it has that feel to it. I know it hit 100,000 sales on, I believe, day one. Like and I know it's the highest selling game or fastest selling game on Steam. I know they hit number one.
Ooh,
So
someone's coming after Ed. What'd you
dude,
do, Ed?
the popo is I did nothing. The popo is out. I was just like, let me drive safe. Okay, it did. Then I was able to go. Yeah, the popo was out. So, but it really is a great game. It's not really scary or anything. I know there are some like surprises to it, which is expected in a game like this. Um, would I call it? Would I give it a Game of the Year nomination? I think for indie game, I probably would. Um, but yeah, go read Stephanie's uh review for the game. Like I said, I am enjoying it. I do plan on finishing it and working on it when I do get some time um to do that. So I'm super excited to play more. I just gotta figure out some other things and go and play the game. I mean, finish up the game. I am close to the end of Far Cry 3. I ended up putting it down a little bit, so I could get some Switch games stuff done because I've been playing Pokemon Mystery Dungeon on Switch, the
Mm.
one that came out a couple of years ago. So I'm going to be playing some more of that. I do want to finish that game. I do want to get like a mystery dungeon from the Pokemon series game done with it. So I'll be working on that.
Nice.
I installed Sandland, so I'm also playing that on Series X. And
Installing with
it's
power,
fine.
everybody.
And as usual, yes. I still got one more game to install, and I know Hellblade will be out in 2 more weeks um, from this recording. So I'm excited to play that and Paper Mario Thousand Year Door. I'm excited to play. But that's pretty much what I've been playing with Power. What about you, Corey?
Um, I've been uh, I've been playing Final Fantasy still. It's something. I'm kind of annoyed and done with it. I think I don't really want to play it anymore. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm just really annoyed with it, and it's not because of the story or the characters. It's just I just don't like
Mhm.
playing it, and so I'm just gonna I'm just gonna watch the end of it, or like from where I'm at on like YouTube or something, because I can't play this game anymore. Sorry. I know people love this game and it's nostalgic, and the version I'm playing has a lot of features that make it play easier, but it is not easier. I just can't play it anymore. I'm done. I don't care. I tried. I did my best. I'm quitting. Um, Mostly because I was going through this cave and I was fighting my way through it, and some reason, like, I got all my characters got hit at one point, and it dropped them all down to 1 HP, and I was trying to heal myself, and then this other enemy came in and just, like, hit all of my characters just once, and I died, and it was ridiculous. It was so stupid, and I'm like, I just lost an hour and 15 minutes of progress because there's no saving this game unless you find one of those stupid save points, which is something that,
You can
man,
say
old Final Fantasy games are, and even old RPGs in
so
general
if
are
you
just ugh.
so literally if you in the overworld you should be able to save.
Mm-mm. You have to hit one of
Yeah.
those question marked things.
Oh, I thought you was able to save in the overworld.
Mm-mm.
That's what I've been doing.
Not
Or I've
not
been
that I'm
using the
aware of.
tent. Yeah, I've been using the
Oh,
tent, and the
I
tent lets you save in overworld.
I don't know. It's just I'm just having a hard time with it. I guess I'm just stupid. I know how to play RPGs, and I don't understand why I'm not doing well with this.
Hmm.
Um, so but that's what I've
You know what? I will say I am proud of you for getting that far, at least to see, because like when you get most of the end of the game, it's just a bunch of nonsense. It kind of loses itself when you get like to the like almost close to the end of the game. So, I'm glad that you at least got that far. I'm glad that you even played it and got as far as you did.
yeah. It's I mean, I don't know. Maybe I'm just over exaggerating a little bit, but like man, I just really want to give up. I'm just like not having fun, and I want to play other games,
Mhm.
and I'm just like not, like, it's prohibiting me from wanting to play games because I'm having such a bad
Yeah,
time with it. And I don't want to feel that way. And I feel like and part of me just feels like I need to push through and just get it over with. And the other part of me is just like, you should just not worry about it and just play other games. So I don't know.
yeah. I
Like,
say play other games.
I know. I feel like such a, I don't know. I feel dumb if I don't finish it, but I really don't want to finish it.
I mean,
I want to play like I want to play Xenoblade Chronicles. I want to play Final Fantasy 16. I want to play, I mean, Destiny has a huge expansion coming out. There's just so many
yeah,
things I want to do and play, and this game is preventing me from enjoying any free time that I have, which I need
I
to.
just
uh, Anyways,
I say just put it to the side, shelve it, and play something else.
I mean, well, maybe we'll see. I
Oh, I did that to Final Fantasy 8 with the quickness. I'm like, I do not like this gameplay.
Yeah,
I do
see,
not.
that's the thing, is like I loved Final Fantasy 8, and like the way I'm playing this game, I'm like, man, if I went back to 8 or 9, am I gonna just like hate those games now? And like I
Well,
really don't
now
want
I
to.
think 9 is a little bit easier and a little bit forgiving. Because I just brought 9 on Series X because I want to try to get the achievements on there. But I'm like, yeah, 7. You could, if you're not having fun with it, shelve it.
Yeah, I mean, it really reminds me of what was like how I felt the first time I played it, honestly. And it's just like, this feels
Mm,
old, this feels archaic. The characters are interesting, but like it just feels old, and I just don't want to do this. I just don't want to do this, And I think I'm just gonna give up because I just can't, man.
yeah.
I really just want to do other things.
Oh, that's how it was with me with Devil May Cry 4. I was just like, and y'all say 2 is the worst one? Oh, DMC 4 was just horrendous. And I was just like, I'm shoving this. I took it off my system. And I'm just like, I'm not about to go through any of this nonsense. None at all. I'm like,
Yeah.
This is terrible camera. Enemies respawn because I missed a jump, and I gotta fight them all. No, I'm not
Mm,
about to do this.
mm. Yeah.
And I wasn't having fun. I was like, if I want a Devil May Cry game, I'll play DMC from Ninja Theory, or I'll go install 5 again to just have fun with that.
Yeah. So I played a little bit of that, and I died in the same spot. Like I died in the same spot twice, and I don't understand. This enemy is like a basic enemy, and I don't it like I really don't know if it's like a bug or something, because
Hmm.
it's not even a boss. It's just like this basic cave enemy, and like their basic attack like does like, I don't know, 40 damage, and I have like 900 and something HP or something. And then it just does this like spin move for some reason. It's like this lizard thing, and it's not imposing. It's not like I can kill it in two hits, right? Like it's not like this imposing boss. It's just like it has this weird spin move thing that drops all of my characters to 1 HP. And I don't know what it is. And there's usually like four, like it's such a an inconsequential enemy that like there's four of them on the screen at the same time. It's like one of those enemies that they just like copy paste, right? Like fodder enemies.
Uh,
And then it does this weird
yeah,
spin move, and all my characters just drop to 1 HP. And it's like, well, my moves are already queued up, and like now I have to wait for the active time system to like refresh itself. And by the time that happens, I'm like dead, you know? And it's the
yeah,
same enemy in the same spot. And I don't know if it's like a bug or if it's just like I'm just dumb, but it is just it was angering me.
yeah,
So I've been playing
yeah.
that sort of. I played Stellar Blade. Um, I really like Stellar Blade. I like the combat. I like
Hmm.
the way it feels. It feels a lot like if they it feels like Ninja Gaiden Black if you slowed it down,
Ah, okay.
is what it reminds me of. And maybe I'm just remembering that game differently, but like I really like the quick moves. I like the parry system. It's all like easy to wrap your mind around. I
Hmm.
wish the dodge mechanic, which I know you can upgrade your moves and stuff, and maybe that's something you can upgrade later. I wish the dodge mechanic worked a little bit more like I don't know.
And
I
too.
wish no, I wish it worked more actually like Bloodborne a little bit, where like the roll, like a roll dodge instead of just like a little, like a
Oh,
little.
flip.
It's not even like a little flip. It's just like a little dash to the side, and like it doesn't help really, especially on bosses. It just doesn't help. Uh, so because I like to, and I know like this is more of a parry counter type game. It seems like,
Mhm.
just from what I've played, it seems like that. Uh, but I really enjoy the combat. The opening reminds me a lot of Nier, like a lot. And I know people have made that comparison to the story and the characters and stuff, but it like really reminds
Yeah.
me a lot of Nier at the beginning. Uh, and so I played through the demo, and I really like it. I think I'm gonna get it at some point. I really like it, and very it does really like to throw the we'll call them the female assets at you, and like
Yes.
show the physics and the um voluptuous parts. I guess is how you would say that. Uh, so
It's so.
I might play through the demo again, just because I think now that I kind of understand the game, I kind of want to go back and replay the beginning just to uh, see if I missed anything, or I don't know,
Mhm.
something. But I really like it. I really think it's a really cool game. And I think people, if you like action games, I think maybe you should try it. I
It's
mean, there's a
I
demo.
was watching
The demo's long, so
I was watching the first trailer of Stellar Blade and or Project Eve at that time, and it was supposed to come out on multi platforms. And I think Sony paid for the exclusive, or they decided to do an exclusive deal with Sony, because the character design was different. And this was like a E3 trailer reveal. And at the bottom it said like PS4, Xbox One, uh, and PC. I was just like, oh, this was a game in production. They switched all of that to PS5, and Sony, I guess decided to do it with like state of, uh, um, I think they went and started going exclusive once they premiered it in their state of play for it, and then they just dropped all the other consoles. Like they dropped Xbox and PC. Um,
mm,
and just
yeah.
made it one console exclusive. This I get. I think they said it was a better focus that they just focused on one console, and Sony's PlayStation 5 was the one they decided to go with.
Hmm. Yeah. Well,
So
Stellar Blade was a good get by Sony. I think it was smart for them to kind of tie up that exclusive. Yeah, especially well, well, I I don't want to talk about Microsoft right now. I'm like very as an Xbox player mostly for other games other than, if it's not on Switch, I will play it on Xbox type person, right?
mm-hmm.
I The next time I go to buy a game that's not exclusive, I'm gonna heavily consider not buying it on Xbox. That's all I have to say. I'm very concerned about the future of the brand and the platform, and I know they're making another console, right? But
Yeah,
I'm very concerned about Xbox. Anyways, I also played a little bit of Tears of the Kingdom, even though I've already finished it. I've been like searching for shrines and just wandering the world because I
mm-hmm.
can't. I we Our Tears of the Kingdom versus Breath of the Wild expansion pass went free the last week or so, and it's just I like spending time in that world, and I kind of like, and plus with like all the announcements that they were making and like the Masterworks kind of uh
Uh-huh.
art book and the soundtrack and stuff being announced, and the awesome $200 Master Sword that they kind of announced. And
Yeah.
man, I want that so bad, but it's $200, and I can think of a lot better things to do with $200. uh like, I don't know, buying some collector's editions that I haven't purchased yet. But that's besides the point, Ed. I I've been playing some shrines and searching for Koroks, and doing all the things that you're supposed to do in that game, and
Yeah.
I'm just having fun with it. What else did I play? I mean, I dabbled a little bit in some other things. What?
I would say it's good that we had that expansion pass discussion. And then
Yeah.
it came out because Sunday is the 1 year anniversary of it. And everybody go read Stephanie's article. She did a editorial about it. And it's really, really good stuff.
Yeah.
And a lot of people been talking about Tears of the Kingdom just within this 1 year
Mhm.
anniversary. So
Well,
like
I mean
it kind of worked perfectly.
this generation of Zelda has been pretty special, right? I mean,
Hmm.
we could do a whole expansion pass on just how special this generation of Zelda has been. Between Tears of the Kingdom and Breath of the Wild and the Link's Awakening remake, and Age of Calamity being a cool spinoff, and Cadence of Hyrule being a cool spinoff, right? Like the I think a lot of people kind of forget that that came out this year or this generation too. Like there's a
Yeah,
and then we got Skyward Sword HD and Hyrule Warriors Definitive Edition and what else? What
Link's
others else?
Awakening remake.
I said that already, but that's okay. Thanks, Ed. Thanks for listening
Well,
to me.
because we also got Link's Awakening for the Game Boy
I know,
Color,
but
like the NSO stuff.
who's talking
So
about
like
that?
but I'm like with Zelda for this generation, yeah, we got a lot like just for Switch. Yeah, we
Uh-huh.
did get some ports, but we got some amazing. I'm like Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom is the only games that I could think of back to back that got perfect tens. Like how in the world do you make a game or you have two games in a well-known series to get straight tens back to back? And yeah, even though the Metacritic is it varies different, I'm like you cannot deny that though both of those games being in the 90s is selling the way that they sold, and just people still going to that world, streaming that game, still talking about it. Like that's impactful. That
Mhm.
really is impactful. It's to the point where everybody, definitely if you look at Breath of the Wild, where journalists and even content creators just like open world games need to have that Breath of the Wild feel to it if we're going to be an open world game.
Mhm. Yeah. So yeah, I played some shrines of that, and then I dabbled, and by dabbling I mean I really just dabbled in um Shredder's Revenge. I played a little bit of that, the Turtles game. I played
Oh, nice.
a little bit of Tony Hawk's Pro Skater on Switch. I play a little bit of Tetris Effect. I'm really struggling to figure out what to play. So I'm just playing these like dumb little interstitial games to like figure
Mhm.
out what I want to play next, cuz like I have a lot of games on my list that are like I don't know, part of me wants to go back to like Fire Emblem Engage cuz I never finished it because I was bored with it, and I wonder if I'm like really interested in going back to it. Like I never finished Monster Hunter Stories. I never finished Near, which I want to go back and try to finish. I want to play Persona. Like there's all these games that I just want to play and I haven't played, and I need to make time to play. I
Yeah.
tweeted out today I need more time, and like we do so much and I do so much outside of this, and it's just like I my time is incredibly limited to the point where like I can't enjoy any of the games that I want to because I just don't have time. And so I'm like really heavily considering like ending a couple things that I'm a part of, or really having, passing it off to people, mostly like the stuff I do outside of Boss Rush, because it's not, I mean, why am I doing it? Uh I mean, I love tower casuals and stuff. We actually were discussing on the show the other day about the end of the show and what it's going to look like and when it's coming,
Mhm.
because we both agreed that after the final shape, like unless something unless the final shape is the greatest thing that's ever happened to Destiny, and the episodes afterwards are like, you know, incredible, like that show's
Yeah.
ending this year. Tower Casuals is probably coming to an end this year, and my Destiny talk will be limited to any type of YouTube videos I want to do, or Boss Rush podcast, or whatever. And so that will end, and uh, Xbox Casuals is probably going to end soon because I just don't want to do it, to be 100% honest. And I don't even know why we started doing that show. I think we were just really excited about the future of Xbox, and then obviously they flushed all that down the toilet the last 6 months or so, and it's just like, why are we doing this? There's just no future here either. And it's kind of like I don't want to sound like it's like a waste of time, but
Mhm.
if we want to grow boss rush stuff the way we are growing and do it faster, it is a waste of time. And so, uh, and also it takes away my Monday nights to do other things, you know? So I don't know what's going to happen. I really just I need to start saying I can't do this. Right. Um,
Mhm.
so, uh, I want to focus on Power Block, and I want to focus on Boss Rush, and I know people are kind of upset about the expansion pass thing, and we got to find a remedy for that. You know, I mean, I
We
feel
are
bad,
working.
but like I
Yeah.
feel bad that we didn't put one out last week. I'm of two minds, right? Like it it was a lot of weight off of my shoulders not having to like find time to do it and do it,
Right.
you know, half-assed, right? But also like it stressed me out that like I feel like we're taking content away from our paid subscribers on Patreon
Mhm.
specifically, and I don't want them to feel like they're getting shortchanged, you know?
Yes.
And I mean, I do realize that our Patreon is extremely cheap to buy into, you know, for the most part. Um, but also like they've been getting content for so long, and we've already like, you know, for the long term subscribers, we've already taken away two shows, right? And now this is a third one, and this is not. I don't know. I understand the amount of work isn't sustainable, but also like
Mhm.
I feel bad, and maybe that's something I just need to get over. Um, but you know, and
Uh, w- We're
yeah,
we're going to we're looking for a remedy for expansion pass, everybody. Me and Corey have been discussing some things. So um
yeah.
we hope
Also,
to
like,
deliver you guys a lot of content from expansion pass. I will say, I just will say this. Um uh, Me and Corey really have gotten busy. Like just outside of Boss Rush. Um like I told Corey, you know, I've I'm now working at 6 stores, and
mhm,
stuff is ramping up. Stuff is actually changing, and it's taking a lot of my time to do some things. And you know, I think once that stuff get all settled, definitely you guys, like I said, we're going to try to find a solution so that you guys who are patrons still get the content for expansion pass. um it's just that anything in life can happen and when that happens, it affects, you know, us being able to create. So but we are going to try to find a solution to expansion pass, and that hopefully you guys do enjoy it.
yeah, and yeah, I don't know if it's gonna come back weekly or twice a month or something.
Hmm.
I just want to make sure the quality is there, and you know, like I listen. I have a I'm part of a Patreon where they put out a show every day except for every other Sunday, right?
Hmm.
I listen to the show every day. I listen to their content every day, and it gets me through 2 to 4 hours of the day, right? I like, and I understand that people like rely on podcasts and content to get through
Hmm.
the day, right? I do, you know, and if somebody misses a week or something, I don't get upset, but like it's like a bummer, you know. I'm like, oh man, now I got to find something to fill this time, and like expansion pass filled time for people. Like I see the numbers on expansion pass, like they're definitely not as high as POW blocks, but like it's not insignificant, you know. And so like I don't know, it just it bothers me that like we had to do that this past week, and like I've been thinking about even like, oh man, we should put out 2 this week to make up for it or something, and it's just I don't know. My brain hurts from thinking about expansion pass. I'm not gonna lie to you. uh,
Yeah.
so, anyways, let's not
But
talk about that right now. There's too much.
yes.
There's too many other things to talk about. And we're already 45 minutes into the show. What else? I was
Yeah.
playing something else too, but I forget what it was. So we'll just move on.
Okay. Well, Corey, it is
Yes.
now time. Are you ready for this?
Not really, but I guess we'll figure it out.
All right. Everybody, it's time for Family News. Corey, do take it away.
All right. So we're gonna spend a lot of time on the Switch 2 today. Or Nintendo's Switch successor, right? And we've
Yes.
we talked a lot about it, right? Previously in some capacity. And
Mhm.
the Switch 2 is clearly coming, right? Uh
Yes.
um and it's hold on. Sorry, I'm typing
It was
something.
for it was for Akawa that said something, right?
Yeah, I'm
No.
I'm looking at it right now. Okay, so I'm looking for the tweet because I meant to pull it up and I just didn't see it. Um, so here's the original. Uh-oh, it's getting a phone call. Ring
No,
ring,
it
everybody.
it just no, it just alerted me just in case if something happens. Um
Oh,
like
oh,
if there's like a shooting and stuff in my city,
oh,
it alerts me and stuff
oh.
like that.
And nice. I'm glad you have an alert for that. Um, Nintendo put out this tweet, right, about the Switch successor, and we kind of talked about it at the top of the show, but like this is the first time Nintendo's really kind of acknowledged its existence, right, and kind of their plans
Mhm.
on how they're going to announce it, kind of. So uh, the tweet reads like this, and I love that Nintendo always just opens their tweets like this because it's like none of their executives have Twitter accounts, and they just all go through the Nintendo Limited account, like the company account. And it's like
So this
this.
is this was Nintendo of America tweeting out what
No, this
Nintendo
was
Japan.
Nintendo Co. Limited is who the tweet is from.
Oh, okay.
And I mean, I'm sure Nintendo of America also tweeted it out or retweeted it or did whatever, right? But like,
Mhm.
this is from at Nintendo Co. Ltd, which is Nintendo Company Limited. Uh, this is Furukawa, president of Nintendo. I love that they open all their tweets like that. It's so funny. Uh, we will make an announcement about the successor to Nintendo Switch within this fiscal year, which ends at the end of March 2025. That's when their fiscal year ends, which is when we
Yes.
expect the console to come out, right? Is
Mhm.
March. It will have been over 9 years since we announced the existence of Nintendo Switch back in March 2015. Really, they announced it in 2015? Oh, I guess it's like Codename NX. I guess that's when they kind of started toying around with the announcing that they had a successor to the Wii U, right? That's
Yeah,
yeah.
because the Switch
I guess
didn't
that
drop
makes sense.
to 17.
Well, they announced it in 20.
2017.
They announced it in 20, like they showed that first trailer in 2016, right? The teaser, because I was on my
Yes.
honeymoon when they dropped it, right? In October of 2016 is
Yes.
when they announced it. Um
Because like we literally was like chat
yeah. And then
about it. Yeah.
they showed the full trailer in November, and then they did the big breakdown in January where everybody kind of made fun of the stage presentation and was like, well, okay, whatever. And then they released it in March, and then it is what it is. Uh,
Yes.
we will be holding a Nintendo Direct this June regarding the Nintendo Switch software lineup for the latter half of 2024, but please be aware that there will be no mention of the Switch successor during that presentation. So that's basically, June, they're going to announce what's coming out the second half of the year, which we don't know really anything except for the NES Championship Edition thing,
Championship.
which is
Yeah.
still what, June-ish, right? June.
Yes. It's still in
Uh,
June.
yeah.
I think level 5 got some stuff.
Well,
In the
we'll get
in
to
the
that in a minute.
okay.
Well, we're not talking about the games. We're talking about the console. Um, and then so the game they'll announce stuff that's coming out second half of the year in June, and then I would say September, the end of September, early October is when they're going to drop some sort of teaser for the next console, and then they will ramp up the same way that they ramped up to the Nintendo Switch. I fully
Mhm.
expect some sort of um maybe not full trailer in November or whatever, but I do expect some sort of console focused Nintendo Direct where they're going to sit down and break it down and talk about, similarly to how they broke down the Switch, right? Like, here's
Yeah.
the functionality. It's backwards compatible. Our Joy-Cons are now magnetic. Your Pro controllers can connect to it. Your old Joy-Cons can connect to it via Bluetooth, but you still, if you want to take it on the go, you have to have the magnetic ones. Here's the launch lineup. Here's what you can expect in the launch window. Here's, you know, the specs and which the specs are pretty interesting if VGC is to be believed, which I'll read them in a moment. It's
Mhm.
pretty fascinating. They said it's I'll read it in a minute. Uh and so and then I think the console will be out the first week of March, like like it was and like the Switch was. And I think that's perfect. I think that's when they should release it. Uh and that'll give them enough time to sell units before the end of their fiscal year, so the numbers will look high. And
Yeah.
I think they're going to be able to have their cake and eat it too this holiday, where like if they announce that the next console is backwards compatible, right? Which the more and more I read, the more and more I would think they would be really stupid not to do it, and that they are making
Yeah,
it backwards
definitely.
compatible, right?
Definitely when the way they say that they'll continue to support physical media.
Yeah,
Um, Now
yeah, which
that
is
doesn't say if it's going to be the same cartridge size or anything, but
I totally
if they're
expect a
doing physical media,
yeah, I totally expect a DS to 3DS situation, right? Where like,
mhm.
oh well, the Switch cartridges are black, but the Switch 2 cartridges are gray. You know what I mean? Like there's gonna
Yeah,
be some distinctive thing that allows them to tell you which console they're playing on. They can be played on, right? I totally expect the boxes to look
yes,
similar, honestly. Um, I don't know what the spine will look like, but I totally expect the console, the boxes to look similar. I think they're gonna just continue with this trend. Um, so let's get into this VGC article. Video Games Chronicle
Oh,
is
uh,
VGC. Everybody,
before before you go in there, Corey, um, and like Nintendo said they won't be at Gamescom, so
yeah.
that may factor into something. It's not a guarantee. So if Nintendo I think starts talking about they're not going to be at a lot of places, I think that's when we should uh just get an idea that they're gearing up to do the announcement or speak more on the successor. So just just want to let everybody know that at this time, that's a possibility. Stuff that might be happening in the future. All right, Corey, you go ahead.
Um, yeah. So VGC gets real deep into this next console. Uh, a lot of this comes from the Fami Boards forum, which is tracking customs and shipping data and tracks, like manufacturing parts that
Hmm.
Nintendo's partners like Nvidia. They track Nvidia parts a lot on there because Nvidia is developing the chip for the next console. So let's see here. According to some members, shipping. Uh, sorry, my nose is really stuffy, and I'm sorry that I just have been breathing into the microphone with my nose. I'm really sorry. Uh, according to some members shipping information from March, which has only recently been made publicly available, has now turned up references to a number of new shipments with new code names, which they believe refer to components for the next Nintendo console. One listing is for a 6 gigabyte RAM chip, of which two will reportedly be used for a total of 12 gigabytes of RAM. It's currently unclear whether this will be LPDDR5 or LPDDR5X RAM, but it will reportedly run at speeds at 7,500 million transfers per second. So, for those who don't know, RAM is how fast the console will run, right? And
Mm.
how much memory it can hold. Like the Xbox or the Xbox One X had I believe 16 gigabytes of RAM, and I believe the Series X has 32. I think the Series S has less. Let me check on that real quick, but basically, it's gonna be about have about 3 times, well, about probably about 4 times the amount of RAM that the original Switch has. The Switch has 4 gigabytes of LPDDR4, uh, so that runs at about 32 million transfers per second. So I guess the power would be a little bit more than twice, or the RAM would be twice as fast.
Mm-hmm.
So but also like DDR5 is a better piece of tech. So like ultimately the performance will be better because of that anyway. So another listing suggests that the Switch's built-in storage will be 256 gigs. That will be UFS 3.1, which means potential read speeds of 2100 mega megabytes per second, compared to the Switch's 32 internal storage, which peaks at around 300. So that's faster. Um, while at this stage, it's impossible to tell exactly how this will all play out in terms of actual performance of Nintendo's next console. The data does suggest it will be significantly more powerful than its predecessor. Comparisons with other consoles are far less straightforward, particularly because Nintendo's next console will use NVIDIA tech and ARM architecture versus AMD tech and x86 architecture, which Xbox and PlayStation uses. The
Yes.
reported storage speed, 21 megabits per second, does come close to the 2.4 uh, gigabits read speed of the Xbox Series consoles, however. Uh, so yeah, 2.4 gigabytes. I don't know if it's bits or bytes. I think it's bytes. Uh, this is something LeRon's going to yell at me about later if he ever listens to this show. Um,
It's bites.
Man, so yeah, it's almost on par with the Xbox Series consoles. Because 2100 megabytes is 2.1 gigabytes. For those who need math, it's also currently unclear how much the Switch's successor will make use of NVIDIA's DLSS upscaling technology, which could result in better visual detail with less GPU power. Which, from what I've heard, they will be using NVIDIA's DLSS upscaling technology, um, probably mostly to hit 1440p and then upscaled to 4K in other ways, which is fine. I mean, I still think Switch games look great on the TV when they're at 1080p, so whatever.
Yes.
Nintendo confirmed earlier this week that it will announce the next console in the fiscal year. Blah blah blah. So that's where we're at with the Switch tech.
And
Which
I
is
will say,
funny.
because oh, I will say that I'm going to be looking forward to Digital Foundry if they could get these specs and make like a computer or anything on to give an idea. I think that would be very interesting to see how it would look if they could get that if they could make something like that at Digital Foundry.
Yeah. So I think this is kind of what we heard last year, that it's probably going to be more on par with the Series S than
Hmm.
previously thought. I mean, we kind of thought it would be somewhere around the PlayStation 4 Pro levels of power, which is, the
Yeah,
power probably that. But if you're using internal storage of an SSD or something that's similar to an SSD, right? Whether it's hard storage or not, I don't know. That's going to make a big difference also. You know, solid state storage makes a huge difference. I mean, look how fast your games load on PlayStation and Xbox. Like if Nintendo can get their games to load that fast and their operating system to load
hmm,
that fast, and um, I know they're making SSDs that are pretty small now that will fit inside. I mean, you look at the ones that people buy for their Steam Decks or their ROG Allies, right? I mean, I think
yeah,
LaRon tore his ROG Ally open to put in a bigger SSD, and um, if you can get that, if you can get, kind of, if they make some sort of expansion bay or something, my thought is that they're probably just going to have an SD card slot again, or a micro SD card slot
like it.
again for
Yeah,
games, which is serviceable. It's fine, right? Like, I mean, it doesn't really matter. You can store your larger games on the SSD, and you can store your indies on the SSD or whatever, right? Like, or I mean, if you're playing off a cartridge, then it probably really doesn't matter, uh,
right.
unless it's a third party game. But overall, I think the power of this thing is going to be really. I think this is exactly what people want, and I'm okay with it. Uh,
And I I agree with you. Definitely a big performance thing. Everybody's looking forward to. So I mean, if games, I'm not. I think people are not so worried about the graphics or anything, but if the game, like the frame rate, could perform well, if there's not too much stuttering or clipping, or like you said, loading and everything, like of the successor could load really fast. It's gonna be very interesting to see what the system could do for third party games. I think indie developers will enjoy this because their game will perform better, which could probably guarantee more sales. Who knows? Um, and then really to see what Nintendo could do. Like someone was joking, someone made a joke of having Monolith Soft on what they could do with all of these specs and everything. And it was going to be very interesting to see how the system performs when games are being like played on it, because Nintendo is going to come out the gate making sure that it's the highest quality that it could be at. Um, and everything. So because people were joking about Pokemon and stuff like that, but I'm like, if the games could run really good, if stuff, even if they lock it, if they could even get it to a 60 frame rate, or if they lock it at 30 and there's no drops and stuff, people will be excited to have that on this console. Um, but like third party, I think definitely with the Japanese third party developers, I think we're going to see a lot. We might be seeing some ports from them coming to the system, but maybe a lot of games that did come to PlayStation 5 or PlayStation 4 Pro or Series X and S, if they performed okay, but yet they're selling very well on the successor, I think there's going to be a lot of Japanese developers bringing their games over, because if they could start out with a strong lineup of games for Switch and these games perform exceptionally well, like the games are running like exceptionally well, those series have a chance to be, maybe even just thrive on Nintendo, and get sequels and stuff. Like if there's some games that never got a sequel, um due to sales, but if they sell well on the system, we could probably see some of these series going to Nintendo's successors console and being a series for the next 5 to 7 plus years. Um,
Yeah.
so I think my only question would be, um, and it's not so much of the development cycle, but I really wonder, with all of this power, will those games would those games get the equal treatment as Xbox and PlayStation, or will we still have to wait that it comes out for those systems and then we get the other ones a little bit later? Because definitely with this, Call of Duty is going to be interesting to see on this system. And I don't know how Microsoft is going to do that. Hopefully Microsoft don't delay the next Nintendo console version and bring it out with all the other versions, unless they decided they had to do some workarounds.
Yeah. Um yeah, I think what this is going to do on that point is really encourage third parties to kind of um rethink how they develop things. I mean, between a combination of like just how the industry is overspending in general and how games are
Hmm.
just becoming massive, and I think we're learning that people just don't care that games are becoming photorealistic in a lot of ways. And like, yes, it's really cool to see that that technology exists. And Hellblade is an amazing looking game. Hellblade 2 is an amazing looking
Hmm.
game. The Last of Us Part 2 is an amazing looking game. Death Stranding is an amazing looking game. Horizon is an amazing looking game. But look how amazing Hi-Fi Rush is. Look how amazing Nintendo's games are. Look how, a lot of these indie games are. And you know, it's I think at the end of the day, people want great gameplay, people want great stories, people want fun multiplayer experiences.
Yeah,
And I don't ultimately I don't know if people care about graphical fidelity anymore. Like it's not like it's not like jumping from the PS2 to the PS3, right? Or the Xbox to the Xbox 360, right? Like I mean, Oblivion and Gears of War were some of the most amazing games that I've ever seen in my entire life.
yeah,
I don't remember the last time I felt like, man, that game is a generational leap, right? Like the first few games that came, like as the PS3 and Xbox 360 generation, you know, uh, uh kind of moved on, and like how, by the time the end of the generation came along, they were like masters at those consoles, right? But
yeah.
like the first games that came out for PS4 and Xbox One still looked like late generation 360 and PS3 games, right? Like granted
Hmm.
they did look better, but not like generationally better, right? I
There's
would
a
say
like you
like
can see the a big jump of
right,
graphical fidelity.
right. I would still say games on the Series X and PlayStation 5 don't look incredibly different than they did on the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One. I would say the only game that I have seen that is impressive from a graphical
Mhm.
standpoint this generation is Hellblade 2. I think that might be the only game that I've seen that looks incredibly visually impressive. It's all about what's happening under the hood now, right? Like AI
Yeah,
is different. Getting the game to run at 60 frames a second, or implementing ray tracing, or getting it to run at 4K, or being able to have multiple more enemies do different things on the screen at once. Being able to have the game remember that, oh, this body stays here. So 20 hours into the game, when I come back to this area to clean up some side quests, this body is still here, or this item is still here that I can
yeah,
maybe pick up or loot later, right? And you know, one of my one of my favorite games, Destiny 2, Destiny 2 is running on an engine that was running on the Xbox 360, right? I mean,
Yes.
yes, granted, with more power and more RAM and more everything, right? Like they are able to do so much more, and I don't think Destiny 2 could run on the Xbox 360 today, right? I'm not saying that, but like Destiny 1 was running on the Xbox 360, and the only reason why
Hmm.
Rise of Iron didn't come out on Xbox 360 is because they had weapons that required particle effects that the Xbox 360 just wasn't strong enough to do. And that's
Right.
the only reason. Destiny 2 is the final shape is coming out on Xbox One and PS4, right? The only difference is that it's running at 30 frames a second instead of 60, and
Right.
it's running at 1080p instead of 1440p or 4K, right? Like
Hmm.
that's the only difference. And like I think the way that those consoles are built now, right, on x86 architecture, and like the way that PC gaming is, and there's like, thousands of PC style builds that, they need to account for. The games are
Yes.
just learning how to scale to the platforms, right? And PlayStation's
Mhm.
kind of holding that back by being like, "Oh, well, you bought God of War on PlayStation 4, you need to pay us $10 to upgrade it to PlayStation 5 so you can get the best version." And it's like, well, at some point that's going to have to end, right? Like I think you're just going to have to start scaling the games better. Uh, but at the end, what my point is like the games don't have to be breathtakingly beautiful and photorealistic anymore to have a great experience.
I
And
mean, just Metroid Dread looks amazing on TV. It looks bonkers good on the OLED, literally. And people still look at that game and be like, "How in the world is this game looking this good?" You know, like Nintendo, of course, Nintendo knows when it's their own console, they know how to get a use out of the hardware. It doesn't take much for people to be wowed by graphics or anything. I mean, look how Hades did when the official version came out on Switch. Like people were talking about it for months. Even when it dropped on other platforms, people were still talking about it and being happy with it. Um, like if it was all about graphics and graphic fidelity and everything, Nintendo wouldn't have the numbers that they have for their first party games for Switch. You know, um, if gamers were just like, oh, it don't have the best graphics, so I'm not going. No, if you look at the numbers for Nintendo Switch for their first party, the numbers are in 1 million plus, and a few games under a million. But people were like you said, Corey. People are there for the fun. They're for the experience and everything. Like you mentioned High Five Rush. We was talking about Gears 5 on Series X looking amazing. Like you can have a game with all the bells and whistles, but some people don't care about the bells and whistles. They want to have fun and they want to experience the game and see what the story is going to be talked about. Now, yes, PlayStation 5 and Series X, they are powerhouses. Along with PC, they are powerhouses. But a lot of that powerhouse goes mostly to the cutscenes than they do for some of the games.
yeah. Uh yeah, and like you said, and like we've kind of been talking about, it's like I kind of think when people look at these photorealistic games, like I
Mm-hmm.
think a lot of like especially like hardcore gamers, like I think a lot of them think it's boring at this point. Like it was really cool when we saw Gears of War for the first time. It was really cool when we saw Hellblade the first time. It was really cool when like,
Yeah.
Call of Duty came out and you could see the whiskers of the mustache move in the wind, and like, the rain effects and people's faces move when they're acting and stuff, and all that. That is all still super cool, right? But at the end of the day, it's just like you're just making a person and you're scanning this person in instead of having a unique art style. Something like, I would argue Fortnite's art style has been more influential this generation than something like Hellblade or Call of Duty, right? Like
Yeah.
every like quote unquote free to play battle royale slash, you know, game that we want to get everybody into has taken the Fortnite approach of like it's kind of cartoony, colorful, bright colors, super fun. I mean, Apex Legends did. Remember, it started out as like this gritty, realistic shooter, and then everything
Yeah.
after that was like their trailers and stuff look more like Borderlands trailers now than like,
Yeah.
I mean, it was it was influenced by Fortnite, right? That's why we don't have Titanfall 3. Uh
Well, and that's why, like, I go back to Jet Set Radio because of the cell shading. Like, that was inspirational to a lot of games. Um, and everything. That cell shaded look was very inspirational. And Fortnite, like you just said, Corey, is kind of doing the same thing for a lot of games, having that particular look. And stuff. And I know, like, the Nintendo, they'll do their own look. They'll see what art style fit whatever game they're working on. Like, who is using clay, who is using yarn and stuff, and just like seeing it in motion and playing it and experiencing it and be like, oh, that was creative, and laughing it and enjoying it. Like, Nintendo knows how to master different art styles, and adapt to different art styles if they need to for whatever game they want to present.
yeah.
And plus, they don't have to have an overblown budget of making games like that. You know,
Yeah.
because
Mm,
Nintendo is the business of making money.
yeah. Ed, I have a question. We have a question about this from,
Yes.
where are we? From the One True James via Discord. What do you want the next Nintendo console to do that the next Switch can't? Um, I don't know if you have an answer for this, Ed. I
What I
mean, what
want
I
the so what I want the successor of Nintendo's console, what it could do that the Switch can't do at this time. Um,
Yeah.
hmm. I definitely would say, um, if it does cloud gaming, that it needs to be stronger. Like, I think if they're gonna go with some cloud games, that they run smoothly on Switch, on your home internet connection. I think if you try to play it on a train Wi-Fi or airplane Wi-Fi, it may not work. It kind of depends. But I'm like, if they're gonna do cloud gaming on this next console, it has to be strong. It has to be seamless to it. So that's something that I would love to see. Because what if we could get Kingdom Hearts 4, and it may not be powerful to run it, but if there is a cloud version and it runs smoothly without no hiccups or anything, no drops, no performance issues, if it's good enough to give us that, oh, people will get into cloud gaming on Switch. I mean, no, Square Enix would just drop tons of games on it if cloud gaming could work on the successor, not on Switch. Of cloud gaming could work on the successor.
I mean, for me, I think I don't want it to do anything differently. If there's one thing, I guess, would be, I think it should have some sort of vertical mode to play 3DS and
Mm-hmm.
DS games. Because I know the Switch can already do that. I mean, the Namco Museum games already, you can play it in vertical mode.
Yeah.
as long as you have some sort of controller that supports that or have something to lean your Switch against, like it already
I
offers
mean,
that. Yeah,
I wonder
the
if the
Switch Grip
flip
or
grip,
yeah, that.
the flip grip, yeah. Um, I will say, definitely a better eShop. Like something that need, if they could literally get their eShop better, I would definitely be fine with it. Um, and stuff. And with this next successor, if they're doing eShop and also fixing it, please allow us to throw a lot of games into the cart and make one purchase. Like that, I would love to have a cart full of games and be able to make one purchase.
Yeah, like
Because
yeah.
Marcus, Yeah, because
Yeah.
Microsoft and Sony does it, and I think Steam does it too. A lot of stores, game stores, do that for the digital, and I would love for that to happen. Now they still could do the coin, like still give you coins and combine them, put them into your account. Like I would love that, um, for it. You know,
Hmm. Yeah. So that would be the one thing, I guess. Cordy X also writes in and she asks, "What do you think the first drops of games will be for the Switch 2?" I mean, I think the obvious one is a
the f-
3D Mario game. I think it's
uh
the new Mario
3D
game.
Mario, yeah, 3D Mario. Um, Possibly a Metro. I know we were talking about Metro Prime 4. Would be it. I think Konami may have something in the pipe works like Bomberman 3 or wherever that one is. I think we'll get some indie games for it. I Minecraft probably would be there. Um, for it. I think Stardew Valley probably would be there. Uh, I think we would have a lot of port stuff than like original games and stuff. So maybe that Atlas game that's coming on Xbox, the Metamorphosis, uh that music kind of like role playing game. I can a metaphor something um that Atlas is doing for Xbox that probably could get dropped. Uh for it. And I think Microsoft is going to still be a big component for Nintendo, so we may get a lot of games for it. Probably MLB The Show, if they release it in March, that will probably be part of the launch lineup for it. That would be a very interesting to see. Um, I don't know what would be the leading game at this time. A Mario game probably will be it if they could get that going. Like you said, Corey, a 3D one. Um, but like definitely if they had Mario Party 9 to go, uh, that would be the Breath of the Wild for the series. That would definitely be the one to one console uh selling um game along with the sale of the console, like without a shadow of a doubt. And if it plays good and looks good and smooth, and it takes all the like if it recognizes your NSO account, like you set it up, and it recognizes those DLC tracks and be like, yeah, incorporate those DLC tracks since you're an NSO member. Bam.
Hmm.
Now you got like pretty much Mario Kart 8 and 9 combined. So shoot, you could probably have over 100 courses if you want to, along with some new courses. Like they could Nintendo could do a lot if they could get technical, I should say. But like as a leading game, shoot, maybe that is or Splatoon 4. Because I know if they do another Smash, that's gonna be a while. Because I think we got to see what Sakurai is doing if he is still making games uh for Nintendo. But
Yeah. Um, yeah, I don't really know what else is going to come besides the 3D Mario game. I would say some sort of multiplayer centric game. Hopefully not 1-2 switch
Hmm.
3 or whatever it is. I hope it's more something along the lines of like um, Snipper Clips or Wii Sports or something. I mean, if you could get a Snipper Clips 2 for Switch 2, that would be really awesome.
Yeah.
Um, I think something like that would be totally worth it. So, yeah, I don't know. Switch 2, man. It's going to be exciting. I'm very excited to see what happens with this. It's going to be
I
interesting.
I it feels like it's gonna be one of those days where it's gonna drop, and I know me and you probably gonna be texting crazy with each other and just talking about the whole Boss Rush crew. But I think it's like you said, it's very exciting to see what Nintendo is going to do. Because even to just say that it's their successor, we are still making assumptions on what the system is going to be and what it can provide and everything. If it can provide 4K in the dock, awesome. If it does 1440p undock, awesome. Like if we can literally get games just on the Switch, successor that just performs very well. Because we know that everybody, we know journalists are going to compare it to the Steam Deck first and foremost, and then and all the other um handheld gaming, I should say handheld gaming. Um, but it's going to be very interesting to see. I'm happy Nintendo did just say that we'll talk about our successor in the fiscal year. I'm so happy that they said something. Um, and I think we, of course, with the way that these games are releasing and that's coming out, that kind of indicated that something was happening. But I'm glad that Nintendo just is ready to go on to the next generation, and hopefully that we all be wow on what we see and what they deliver. Because now, because you cannot deny Nintendo um is, I won't say the best, but it's delivering on what they um what they love to do, which is video games. You know, you cannot deny that this generation just of Nintendo really delivered, and to see them go forward and still hold that they're not competing with the other two. They probably don't care what the other two is doing. They just want to deliver games and experiences that only they could give.
Mhm.
Because shoot, like I said, that next Zelda game, a new one of them, a new one of them know what they could get into, and I know Monolith Soft is testing a lot of stuff. And I think what's probably going to happen is I think we're going to get Monolith Soft's next game before we get the next Zelda.
Oh, yeah, for
Because
sure.
cause, dude, I think all those teams that's at Nintendo are learning are learning what they could do on that system.
Yeah.
And just be like, ooh, yeah.
Yeah. So, um,
And and I know before we move on, Corey, we might be getting into the $70 games on Nintendo, but who knows? Nintendo probably still could be doing 60. We don't know.
well, Nintendo's done a pretty good job of exploring the scale anyway. I mean, we've had 70, I mean, we've had what, one $70 game, but like 70,
Hmm.
60, 40, 30, we've had it. We've had them explore the scale 15, 10. I
Yeah.
mean, Nintendo has explored the scale more than anybody that I think people just don't realize it, but they have. I mean, Snipper Clips was $20, Box Boy and Box Girl was what, $10. Zelda was 70. Mario RPG was 50, Metroid Prime
Yeah,
remastered was 40. Like,
40.
everybody likes to complain that Nintendo likes to sell the premium game at a premium price, even if it's a remaster. But they've not. They don't. I mean, yes, they still do that, but it's not like it's not every game. So I think they've
Right.
actually done a pretty decent job of exploring the scale. Yes, I do believe Nintendo will move to the $70 price tag for especially Mario and Zelda and maybe the Metroid Prime 4, whatever the next Donkey Kong game is. But like, I think Mario Kart. I think Mario Kart will
Ooh.
be 60. I think whatever the next Pikmin
Mhm.
game could be 60. I think maybe Splatoon 4 will be like a $40 game, and you'll have battle passes this time. Maybe Nintendo's taking notes from other games.
That Splatoon is the one that I wonder because I'm just like, where did you go with it? Like, and how
I
do
mean,
you add on it?
it's not. It's just going to be like it's going to be there. I think you're going to see Nintendo kind of explore games as a service this time around
Hmm.
more efficiently, like whatever the next Smash Brothers is. you know, Maybe the base game is like $50 and you get this set roster, and then they'll just like the way that Street Fighter sells season passes, and they'll sell
Hmm.
like battle passes with different outfits and stuff for different characters. And Splatoon, I think, is perfect for that. Smash Brothers perfect for that. Mario Kart's perfect for that. I mean, they already did it with Mario Kart on
It,
phones, just nobody played the phone game. So,
yeah, and, and and
like,
and you gotta give it to you gotta give it to Nintendo. Their DLC prices is very reasonable.
yeah. Well, Ed, should we move on to the next story? Since we talked about
Yes,
that for 45 minutes. I'm very excited for Switch 2, though. So, our
I
next
am too.
story, uh, Tears of the Kingdom Masterworks art book is coming to Japan in August. This tells me that we will probably get it in the West next spring or summer. Um, I would assume next summer. Translated and in our hands. The book is beautiful. It hits this black cover with the gold kind of and the green kind of the font and the logos from Tears of the Kingdom and everything. It's a beautiful looking book. It's a 464 page full color art book. Uh, it has a lot of art materials and story stuff from the game, the 2023 Critical Darling, according to Nintendo Life. Storyboards, concept arts, illustrations, and more will be crammed into the book. And there's let's see, yeah, they have some screenshots of the pages in the article and everything. It's a beautiful looking book. I'm really excited for this. If it doesn't come to the US, I will probably import this at some point.
Hmm.
What do you think about it, Ed?
Oh yeah, I'm definitely waiting. This has to get translated. I would definitely buy it if it comes next year. It looks beautiful, man. Yeah, I'm with you with this one.
Yeah, it looks great. I'm excited for it. You know what else I'm excited for, Ed?
Yes.
Nintendo World Champions NES Edition launches on Switch in July. Um, so that's launching on July 18th. The game will include 150 challenges across 13 NES titles, drawing inspiration from the original championship tournament back in 1990. You'll be tasked with completing challenges in the fastest possible time possible, such as rushing to grab the first super mushroom in Super Mario Brothers or racing up platforms to reach a door in Metroid. The games featured are Super Mario Brothers 1, 2, 3, Lost Levels, Excite Bike, Ice Climbers, The Legend of Zelda, Zelda 2, The Adventure of Link, Donkey Kong, Metroid, Balloon Fight, Kid Icarus, and Kirby's Adventure. A physical edition, a collector's edition, is $59.99 and will include 13 art cards, a replica gold NES cartridge that's not playable, five stylish NES themed pins, and more. If you want the digital version, it will set you back $29.99. So
Yeah,
that's
the
pretty
collector's edition
pretty
looks
cool.
really good.
Yeah, it looks really nice. I'm waiting for that Amazon pre-order to go up. uh, yeah, that's cool. I'm excited for that. Very, very, very excited for that.
Yes.
The last but not least, Ed, I don't know. We don't need to spend much time on this one. Nintendo's discontinuing Twitter/X posting straight from the console due to the cost of the API. Uh, Twitter Gaming or X Gaming put out a tweet stating that they are working with Nintendo to make sure the transition is as smooth as possible, and you will be able to you will be able to put your uh, images on your phone via a QR code, uh, and you can upload them from your smart device or your PC. I mean, Microsoft and PlayStation already did this. Nintendo's really the last one. I don't really
Yeah.
have anything else to say about that. So,
Um. Yeah. I kind of wonder with like posting pictures, like even with Microsoft, because I think their stuff goes to your OneDrive, and things. I don't know about PlayStation. What happens with that? I think this is going to be a feature. I think for the next consoles on all three of them, I think that's going to get taken out. Is taking pictures, um, and trying to post them to social media because I'm like, where do you go to post these? Um, like Facebook or back to Facebook, you know. And I will say that posting pictures from your console, from your gaming, and being able to edit and add words, and stuff is kind of fun. Uh, but I'm like, I wonder if it's going to be in all three next consoles, and if it is, where does it go for your people to make it easier to post?
yeah, yeah, uh, yeah. I don't know. I think the one mistake that they need to remedy is the ability to post to Instagram from the console. Uh,
Hmm.
I mean, I know Instagram has exploded exponentially since the Switch came out, but I think that's what you need to do is be able to integrate Instagram into this thing somehow. And yeah, I don't know how you do that, especially because like typing on the Switch is kind of annoying, and using hashtags on the Switch is also annoying. Uh,
Yeah.
but yeah, I don't know. I think that
And
that yeah. Go
and I
ahead.
think you can't. I'm assuming that you also can't post video on X anymore or Twitter after this. Oh well, if they're taking up posting pictures off, I think that whole service is going to be taken off of Twitter. So posting videos, you probably can't even do that from your switch to uh Twitter.
Yeah. Um. Yeah. So I mean, it's fine. I don't care. It's been so long since I even tried to post anything anywhere anyway. Uh.
Hmm.
So I don't know. I think it's a cool idea. I like the idea, especially in handheld mode. I think it's way easier to do than something on PlayStation or Xbox. But uh,
Yeah.
the nice thing about Xbox, though, and maybe this is what Nintendo should do, is like through the Nintendo Switch Online app, um,
Hmm.
you store your pictures on there, and then you can save them to your phone from the app, which is what Xbox does now. Like you can access all your screenshots and videos from the app, and you can just download them to your phone and post them from there.
Okay.
Uh,
Yeah, I was wondering, with like the capture button, where you could get them at.
yeah, it's uh, it's definitely um something that they should still continue to try to implement, because I think it
Hmm.
is a nice feature to have. Uh, but I don't know. I mean, they already link everything else to your phone app, so why not the screenshots and stuff? So, all right, we're gonna move on. We're gonna skip the other side just because we've been going for almost 2 hours already, and I don't want to. This is a conversation that deserves longer than we would be able to give it tonight. I think the Xbox stuff,
Yes.
because it does affect Nintendo. Um, probably eventually in a real way, in a very real way. Uh, but
Hmm.
maybe we'll save that for an expansion pass or talk about it next week or something. Uh, but
Yes.
it's time for Pack Watch, Ed. On five
Backwatch.
on 514, we're getting Biomutant. Like 10 years later. Man, I feel like Biomutant came out so long ago. Biomutant is an open world post apocalyptic kung fu fable RPG with a unique martial arts style combat system allowing you to mix melee shooting and mutant ability action. A plague is ruining the land, and the tree of life is bleeding death from its roots. The tribes stand divided. Explore the world of turmoil and define its fate. Will you be its savior or lead it to an even darker destiny? Um, yeah, I wonder how this is going to run on Switch. It's going to be interesting. An Embracer group joint too, by the way, everybody. So look out for that.
Well, it did. I mean, it did come out on Xbox One and PS4. So, like, it didn't get its upgrades until they hit the Series X and PS5 version, but mostly the Series X S
Yeah,
version. So it it's probably a good port. I'll say. We'll see.
yeah. Um, Slayer X Terminal Aftermath. It comes out on on May 15th, which is Hypnospace Outlaw, that studio's next second game, which has already been out on other platforms for a while. Uh, Slayer X Terminal Aftermath, Vengeance of a Slayer, and they spelled vengeance wrong in the title. And I went and even looked. I was like, this is not how vengeance is spelled. Uh, and it's spelled wrong on the box too, on the box art. So I don't know if that's just a mistake or if this is intentional. I don't know. Slayer X is a first person shooter regarded as a boomer shooter for its inspiration from classic 90s video games, similar to the likes of Duke Nukem 3D and Redneck Rampage. Yes, those are the games I think of when I think of boomer shooter, not Doom or Wolfenstein 3D. Uh,
Right.
the story begins with Zane being attacked by Psycho, the Psycho Syndicate. Okay, that was the description they gave me. May 16th, we're getting 3 games. The first is Lorelei and the Laser Eyes. A woman summoned by an eccentric man to participate in a project in an old hotel somewhere in Central Europe becomes embroiled in a game of illusions, increasingly dangerous and surreal. Now you are invited to fall into the same rabbit hole in a non-linear mystery with an immersive amount of handcrafted puzzles, constantly presenting you with new riddles to solve, each leading you closer to decipher the enigma of Lorelei and the Laser Eyes. Jeez, that was one long sentence. Uh, the second game is Please Fix the Road. Please Fix the Road is a
Oh my
colorful,
goodness.
minimalistic, laid back, and casual puzzle game in which it is probably not hard to guess you're fixing roads. In each level, you have a specific limited set of tools that will help you get all of the cars, boats, trains, and animals from their point A to point B. Lastly, is Read Only Memories Neuro Driver. Uh, Play a psychic detective ES888 and chase down a rogue Esper who's hidden away in the memories of others. With the help of your psychic abilities and a creature known as Neurodriver, you choose the way to take them out, but hurry, these memories are fading. So those are the games we're getting. We're getting a couple pretty big games next week, including Paper Mario. So if you are on a budget and none of these interest you and you are waiting for games next week, maybe you should do that.
Yes.
All right, it's time for question block. Remember, you
Question
can
block.
you can email us at nintendopowblock@gmail.com. Join our Discord, look for the Twitter thread, and many other ways. There are lots of ways to get a hold of us here at Nintendo Pow Block. Ed, our first question comes from our friend Delvin Cox via Twitter. He asks, if you could replace any movie's main characters with Mario and Luigi, what movie are you picking? Ed, you know what I thought of first? You know what the first movie I thought of was for some stupid reason?
What?
Bad Boys and Bad Boys 2.
Yeah, I could see that working.
Oh man, that
Oh,
would be funny.
um,
Oh,
I would say probably Hobbs and Shaw from the Fast and Furious universe.
mm, mm. I see. I see. So this next question, I don't know anything about this. I don't even know if this is a person or a YouTuber or a streamer or what. But still saying Shane via Discord, our friend Shane Kelly writes in and says, "What do you think about the rumored Zelda
Yes.
game starring Zelda that Papa Gino's recently talked about? I don't know who that is. Um, a new game starring Princess Zelda coming to Switch 2? Question mark. Um, I I thought for sure Zelda was going to be playable in Tears of the Kingdom, and she was not.
Hmm.
And so I don't know if Zelda will. I think we'll get a Zelda game eventually. I don't know if the next Zelda game is going to be that, unless it's some sort of spin-off or you know handed off to another studio to do. I don't know anything about this rumor. I don't even know who this person is. Papa Gino's sounds like a
Yeah,
pizza
he's
place.
a I think. Yeah, I think he's a content creator.
I think he's a
On
pizza creator,
YouTube.
and I'll have double pepperoni and jalapenos on my pizza, please.
I can't. I'm fine with the pepperoni, the jalapenos. Ah, no.
Ah, man. I want it to burn going in as much as it does coming out. You know what I mean?
I'm gonna leave that one right alone.
Look, man, it's almost 2 o'clock in the
Well,
morning. I'm tired.
I will say this, Shane, that no, I don't believe this rumor. I would have to listen to his what he is talking about, but at this point in time, I do not think that anything is even planned for the Legend of Zelda. Uh, I will say this, with the Summer Direct happening, and the Nintendo Direct happening, I really hope that Nintendo give us Twilight in Wind Waker.
Hmm.
I definitely would love to see that. But I think for the next Zelda game, I think Anuma and the team are really just taking a break. Um, and probably exploring different ideas of what they could make the new Zelda game, because the Breath of the Wild Tears of the Kingdom is wrapped up. That history, that environment, that open landscape is done with. And
Hmm.
the new one then wants to go forward and do something new and fresh. And so with this, I think with Zelda, like if you really want to play her, it's Hyrule Warriors, Age of Calamity, or
I mean, even
Hyrule
Hyrule
Warriors
Warriors
Definitive
in
Edition.
general. I think.
Yeah, like
I think the cool one of the coolest versions of Zelda is actually in the Hyrule Warriors slash Hyrule Warriors Definitive Edition.
mhm,
I mean, I just think that version of Zelda looks really cool,
yeah.
in my
And
opinion.
don't forget, like Nintendo, if they're gonna use Zelda, she's gonna have to play like Laura Croft from the modern Tomb Raiders,
Mhm.
because Zelda is
I don't know. I think she could be like some sort of. Are you talking about like an
she's
archer type person? I think she could be
she's
like
an
a cool
artist type.
magic.
Be-
I think she could be a cool magic wielder slash archer, and I think you could use
well, I
swords and
think
stuff.
because she is it the white arrows that she have,
The light arrows, yeah.
the light arrows, not the white arrows. Ooh, that does not sound right. um, because of the light arrows and that being her main weapon is like w- who is going to be her antagonist, because like Ganon Ganon and Ganondorf want to drain their power, you know, and he's all evil. Like she has to have antagonist, and I don't think Zelda has one. um Now, Link Between Worlds is a different story. With low rule. Maybe they could play a part with that, but yeah, like I think what would end up happening with Zelda is that she would end up playing like Laura Croft. It would be designed as a Tomb Raider, Metroid style game. For
Mhm.
her because of the weapon and who she is. Like I don't think she is going to be discovering different dungeons to get equipment to fight the battle. Uh so I don't believe in this rumor or anything, but I would have to hear what he has to say about it.
Yeah, man. I I don't know. I would actually like some sort of like almost open world kind of, I don't know. I would still want some sort of exploration based, maybe more story heavy
Hmm.
game. But you know, I don't know. I think I think introducing magic for Zelda and, long range archery and, you know sword and shield obviously too. I think you could do a lot of cool things with Zelda, but I don't know.
Yeah.
We'll see. Our last question comes from Sam Hall via email. He asks, "What is one thing on Switch that you wanted but never bought or got, whether it's a collector's edition, accessory game, etc." Um, the Fire
Uh,
Emblem Three Houses collector's edition is the one thing that I wish I would have gotten and I didn't get. And I've been
yeah.
looking at them on eBay. Also, the Xenoblade Chronicles 3 collector's edition. Those are the two that I'm like I have circled real big on
Hmm.
my to get list.
It was Amazon lost my collector's edition of Fire Emblem, and yeah, and that and some other things made me stop ordering games from. Um, Definitely for me, it was Titanfall 2. I really wanted that on Switch. Um, I never got my Arms 2 on Switch. That's the one that I always wanted, and Dreamcast. I would have loved to have Dreamcast games on Switch. Because like or even have a port of Skies of Arcadia, or going back and having working design games on Switch. Like
I think
there's games
Dreamcast is
that I
coming.
miss. Go ahead. You think Successor?
I think no, I just think Sega in general is going to start. I think they're looking at what Nintendo is doing with their GameCube games,
Mm-hmm.
and obviously Sega has like a very big um, resurgence of classic IP coming,
That is
and I
right. They
think
are doing the resurgence.
and I think whatever the new games they start to announce, I think what they're going to
Mm-hmm.
do is, I think they're going to start putting out the older game, like HD versions of the older games.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and so
Because there's a
just to
will
help
Saturn
promote,
games.
because, well, I'm not talking about Saturn. I'm talking about Dreamcast specifically. I don't know if
A
Saturn.
Dreamcast. Okay.
I think Saturn stuff is really hard to emulate. Um, and so I think they're going to start with the Dreamcast. Maybe they'll work their way backwards at some point, but I think you're going to see Jet Grind Radio and Jet Set Radio Future come out either in a two
Mm-hmm.
pack or $20 downloads or whatever. Um, I seriously think Sega is looking at what Nintendo is doing with the GameCube era games specifically and being like, hey, we have a lot of games on the
And
Dreamcast that people love, right? Okay, so you have Skies of Arcadia, you have Sonic Adventure 1 and 2, you have Power Stone, you have uh Jet Grind
so
Radio, you have
you know,
Crazy Taxi 1 and 2, you have
Soul
Blue
Calibur.
Stinger, Soul Calibur, and like you could even up a notch and partner with Nintendo and say, "Hey, we're going to put Soul Calibur 2 HD out on Switch
Uh,
specifically and we can include Link if you want." You know what I mean? Like
what's the
definitely do that.
what's the legacy of Kane one?
Soul
Um,
Reaver, but that's not
Soul.
Sega. That's not Sega though.
I Well, yes, I know that's idols, but I'm just saying that. Well, Power Stone is Capcom, but like if Sega's looking at it and they touch base with all of those companies to be like, okay, we're getting the coin by selling our Dreamcast games with an HD or a port or whatever, a collection on Switch. Capcom, you think of joining in. Idols, you think of joining in. Like, these companies are going to look, because like if they see the resurgence of Dreamcast, every people who missed that era and missed that console are going to be talking to be like, okay, these are like arcade games. So now we understand why people love them so much.
Hmm. Yeah,
Look, Choo
I'm
Choo
really
Rocket,
Choo Choo Rocket. Jeez.
shoot,
Yeah.
and everybody would go crazy for Space Channel 5. If you love Tetris Effect, you won't probably end up loving Space Channel 5. Now, if they keep the Michael Jackson code in it, that'd be
Mhm,
interesting. I should say.
mhm. I mean, I think you're gonna see Space Channel 5 with new music.
Hmm.
I think you're gonna see it. I think you're gonna see like a modern Space Channel 5. That one's tricky, right? Because of the licensed music and stuff.
Yeah.
So
And was it Fantasy Star Online just Dreamcast? I know there's a GameCube
uh
one,
there's
but
man, that's so weird. I don't know. I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't really know.
you know what? I don't think they will, because the Fantasy Star Online that's on Xbox is still going strong, and I think Sega is good with that.
Hmm.
Um, but definitely like Sonic 1 and 2 on there. Sonic
Yeah.
Adventures 1 and 2 on there.
Yeah. Yeah.
You you know.
Yeah. So yeah, man, Dreamcast is such a thing.
I I swear, dude, if even if they drop it at the Nintendo Direct this summer, and just give us 10 games, just a variety of 10 games, and be like, oh, if you don't own NSO Expansion Pass, you can pay this amount. We still doing the difference thing to make it up to where it's $50, and bam, for a whole year plus. As long as you keep paying your $50, you get this.
Hmm.
That's going to jump up subscriptions without no doubt. And if Sega could be good at dropping them and releasing stuff, that's what I'm saying. That researchers of Dreamcast being on Switch, that's money in the bank
Hmm.
for
Yeah.
Sega and Nintendo. Because they're
Yeah.
going to see that people are playing these games. So if Sega just like, okay, we still bring some games to the console for NSO, but let's get that GameCube version of Legacy, not Legacy, okay, uh, the pirate game,
The pirate game?
the Skies
Skies
of
of
Arcadia.
Arcadia?
Sorry, yeah,
Oh
to be like,
man.
let's sell the GameCube version, the better version.
Yeah, I mean
But
they
if
could
you don't
definitely
want
do
that,
that. I mean they could definitely do that because like they definitely have, but you could definitely do that though. I mean it doesn't have to be like the Dreamcast versions. It could be like, you
yeah,
know, oh, Sonic Adventure 2 Battle for the GameCube, the GameCube, because they sell those on Xbox Live Arcade already, right? Like the from
yeah,
the 360 era. Like you could have Sonic Adventure DX, Sonic Adventure 2 Battle, uh the DX versions of Crazy Taxi and Crazy Taxi 2. You could do Skies of Arcadia Legends. You could do uh expanded versions of like Samba de Amigo of
ooh, that would be really good.
well, I mean they just released that new one that was pretty bad, I guess. But
Oh,
Obviously Monkey Ball. I think what the GameCube
yes.
versions of Monkey Ball. I think they actually already re-released those at some point. Uh, but there is so much you could do with. I mean, Soul Calibur and Virtual Fighter are kind of the big ones too, right?
Sega Rally, like even their racing games got some history to them.
Yeah, I mean, you could even give like Nintendo like Sega GT. I mean, remember Sega GT? How big that was? That was like that.
Yes.
I mean, that was going to potentially rival Gran Turismo before Sega just
Hmm.
died, and then Xbox tried to make Sega GT their racing game before Forza came out. Remember the two
Yep.
pack that came out with Jet Set Radio Future? Like that was a big
Yeah.
deal. Um,
Yeah.
yeah. Let's see. I'm trying to think, man. I love the Dreamcast. Let's see. I
And
need
and,
to.
and and I know there's right. We talk a lot about Dreamcast, but I think with this question, it's just like there's so many things that could have happened on Switch. Definitely with the way that it was getting popular and the sales numbers. L- Once again, it's the system that surpasses everybody's expectations, and people who doubted the system and wanted to fail had a complete change of opinion once they got their hand on
Yeah, I'm looking at Sega published Dreamcast game. Choo Choo Rocket. You could easily do
it.
a cool $10 version of Choo Choo Rocket with new puzzles. Like you could just keep putting new puzzles in. Um, Cosmic Smash. I think they're making a VR version of Cosmic Smash. Um, oh gosh, Dynamite Cop. You could make like a whole arcade package of like
So,
action. You could do
that,
like action games. You could do like action
yeah.
games, and you could do driving games because like I mean, you could do Sega Rally, but you also have 18 wheeler American Pro Trucker. You have Crazy Taxi. You have,
Hmm.
some of these other crazy driving games that they did. And then like an action pack you could do. I mean, Dynamite Cop is like so stupid. That game is so stupid. Uh, it's like a 3D brawler that takes place on a on
Brother.
a on a cruise ship,
And,
right? And
and so
like so stupid.
and it's funny. So it's Dynamite Cop some places, Die Hard at other places.
Yeah, well, that's because Die Hard in America is trademarked by, the movie, right? So, you could do
Yeah,
like
I thought
you could do an HD House of the Dead collection. Sorry, I'm just scrolling through these super fast. I don't know.
of,
Uh,
of course my favorite everybody I keep talking about Elemental Gimmick Gamer. And
Gosh, Ooga Booga. Oh my gosh,
ooh,
that was published by Sega over here. Fantasy Star Online 1 and 2 were both published by Sega here.
Ooga
Um,
Booga wasn't the butt game, right?
I don't remember. Res. I mean, Res. They could
Oh,
just re-release Res, but
that needs to be on the successor. Rest needs to come back.
how about an HD version of Seaman? Seaman.
You know what?
Man.
I think it's a wacky enough to fit on a Nintendo console. So yes, why not?
I mean, you could do Toy Commander, although Toy Soldier HD is kind of
Oh,
taking that, but
Sega, give me that Odama from the GameCube. We're talking about GameCube and Dreamcast. Yeah, give me that Odama for Switch next console. If
Blue Stinger, man, give me an HD version of Blue Stinger, and Illbleed, give me that 2 pack, HD
oh,
2 pack. Leave the bad voice acting in it too, please. Fatal Fury
hmm
was published by Sega over here, developed by SNK, published by Sega in North America. That doesn't seem right. I think Wikipedia is wrong. Uh, yeah, I don't know, man. Sega has a lot of things from Dreamcast that you could totally do. I'm actually quite shocked that they
yeah.
have not tried to do more with the Dreamcast library.
Um, yeah, yeah, because like the Naomi board was universal for arcade games, and the arcade archive is a big thing on Nintendo Switch and other platforms. So yeah, I just wonder why Sega has decided not to bring it out, and it could be that they lost that information or anything. I mean, Panzer Dragoon will probably, I could believe, like some of the sadder stuff I could believe, but Dreamcast, I'm like, you guys pretty much made an arcade console, like an arcade board console. So there shouldn't be no way of losing that information. I don't know. It's very weird. Like there's coin to be made off of the Dreamcast because you would introduce a whole new set of gamers um
Mm.
with the Dreamcast. Just like the GameCube, you know, um people are recognizing on why that system is beloved by many. So like if this is a new way to show kids or young gamers or people who fell out of gaming or people who just said no, that's not my system, I'd rather go with this. Dreamcast has a great history of some phenomenal games that people should be able to experience at this time with the current consoles.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, we did it. We did the thing.
Yay! All right, everybody. It's
Yeah.
our final thoughts. I'm going to go ahead and give my final thought, and then I'll hand it over to you, Corey. So my final thought is not game related. As I mentioned with my debit card, I got a new one, and I'm able to use it, as credit, but I called the uh people who, sent me my car, and I'm just like, um, what happened to the PIN number? My old PIN number don't work. And it was just like, yeah, we send the PIN number separately. I'm like, but why didn't you just send it with the car? So I'm able to use my debit card as a credit card, and I have to wait a couple of days to get my PIN at the time of this recording, and it's just like that doesn't make sense. Why not just send all of that in one package? If I get my card, give me a new PIN number.
Right. That's annoying.
So
I don't
yeah,
understand.
but
Like,
I
your bank is so weird, man. I don't get it.
it's
I don't get it.
yeah, I changed all my. The only one that I need to change is like my iPads, but like all my service stuff, subscribe stuff, like my Patreon has changed. Um, I changed my Zencaster payment, so that's good to go. Um, I haven't did SoundCloud yet, but I need to change that. But like all my services, Hulu, Crunchyroll, all of that stuff is good to go. And stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's just my final thought. Companies, if you're going to send us a debit card, send us the PIN number along with it. Make it
My
easier
my
for
debit
us.
card comes with the PIN number, so I don't know what's going on. Oh man. Anyways, your bank is
Uh,
strange, man. I
Corey,
don't get it. I don't get it.
Corey, what is any final thoughts?
Yeah. So first of all, I I have two, I guess. One, uh, I want to thank I want to thank Bungie actually for I know I've been pretty critical of them on this show and other shows in particular, but I want to thank them for they gave me a code for the final shape and the episodes for after the game comes out, and being accepted as a Bungie creator was like this weird full circle moment, because obviously my content creation stuff began what people kind of started listening to me for. It didn't exactly start with Destiny, but it kind of did start with Destiny for me, with
Hmm.
DNA Weekly Strike and that podcast running for a year and a half, um, from House of Wolves all the way uh, through the Rise of Iron. And so uh, it was kind of just like this weird, cool moment of that. So thank you, Bungie, for that great gift surprise. I thought it was a scam at first. I really
Hmm.
thought it was a scam, and I was like, "Oh, well, this is really happening." And I know a friend of show, Danomat, got a code, and a couple other friends. I know Lord Cognito, obviously the Iron Lords, all got codes because they're the Iron Lords and all that stuff. But I
Yeah.
appreciate you know the 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 fact that I've had an impact on the Bungie community with between Tower Casuals and Boss Rush has been you know it was
It,
nice.
it, it that's why when I was texting you, we were talking about it. I'm like, is this their first time doing it? Something like this?
No, they
Um,
do it every expansion. They usually have massive creators do it. I don't know why. I mean, not that like we're small creators by any means, but
right.
we're not big. I mean, we're not like tens of thousands of followers big. I mean, we have a following and it's great, but yeah, I mean, it was just to have that privilege of being a Bungie creator, um, was really I don't know how to explain it, I guess.
Mm,
Surprising, yes, but also just really kind of heartwarming, and like it
humbling.
kind of felt a little bit like when we went to PAX and people were recognizing us, right? Like it was kind of like a
Yeah.
surreal moment of like, man, been playing Bungie games since the Halo 1, and probably played Marathon at some point early on. And I just didn't know that's what it was because I wasn't into PC games, but like, or I guess Mac games at that point. But like Halo is huge influence on my life, and Halo's the reason why I play Destiny, right? I mean, Bungie
Hmm.
is just one of those companies that's like unique in the space in a sense, and uh I mean, Destiny's been a part of my life for 10 years, almost 11 at this
Yeah.
point if you include the alpha, and following everything since ODST, right? I mean, the T's in ODST was really the first inkling of what Destiny might become. Uh, so it was a really cool moment uh, for me personally. Um, and then my second thought is more on the Xbox stuff. And we'll get into it on another show. I don't want to spend too much time with it. I'm very concerned about Xbox as a brand and as a team and as a as a as a whole, right? Because at the end of the day, Microsoft is one of the biggest corporations in the world, and corporations are not your friend. And it just really feels like the corporation is taking over um, the what we thought Xbox was building towards, right? And it really sucks to see a studio like Tango and Arcane close, specifically because Prey, people love Prey, and Hi-Fi Rush was an incredible video game. Uh,
Yeah.
and Hi or to, Tango GameWorks has made some incredible games. I mean, Ghostwire Tokyo, Evil Within, um, Hi-Fi Rush, like they have a library of established quality titles, and um, the fact that Hi-Fi Rush was one of the best-selling games on PlayStation last month, and
Yeah.
a BAFTA award-winning game, and obviously won a ton of awards at our Bossy Awards this year. Not that those are like real awards, but you know what I mean. Like it
Right.
influenced a lot of people, and it was a feel-good game. It was a great game. It was positively recepted, which is something Microsoft desperately needed at the time, right? Even though it's technically a
Yes.
Bethesda game, like I'm I'm very concerned about the future of Xbox and off of that Bethesda and all these studios that they've acquired. I'm very concerned about smaller studios like Ninja Theory or In Exile or uh, Double Fine. Some of these smaller studios, I'm very, very concerned about these studios closing. Even someone
Yeah.
as important as Obsidian, right, who is arguably the strongest team they've acquired in terms of output. Um,
Yes. It
I'm just concerned. I'm very concerned.
I, I think this is the same kind of concern and upset people had with Sony and Bungie after they let a lot of people go. Um that it's you know that it just became people were upset because of Sony making those decisions, and Bungie had to abide. So it's kind of a focus, not focus. It's really kind of telling that all of these companies that Microsoft and Sony brought, and I said this on the expansion pass years or months ago, that it's the results. Are these companies bringing them in money? Because you can have all of these companies, all of these developers and stuff, and it's going to be giving you a big portfolio for your first party games, but they want results from these games. They want to see the sale
Well,
numbers.
well,
Um,
the thing too is though is like let me back up a minute.
mhm,
They introduced Game Pass, right? Man, I don't really want to get into this right now. Long story short, I guess they introduced Game Pass because they were losing by a large margin, right? If you look at console sales and whatever. And so
yeah,
they had to engage in a way where they could change the rules of the game because they were losing with the rules that were provided, right? They had to do something. And it had to be drastic and it had to be different. And Game Pass in theory is an amazing idea. And then they started adding day 1 games, right? And then they started adding indie games, day 1 indie games, and they started adding other games to the point where they started teaching people how to not buy games on Xbox, right? And I know that you do and
yes,
I do. And like, yes, a majority of people still buy games on Xbox. I'm not saying nobody does, but like, there are studios voluntarily skipping Xbox when they are developing games because like the return on investment is just not there. And I think the mistake was where Nintendo and PlayStation's offerings, their subscription offerings, I should say, revolve around, you know, older games and legacy content, right? Especially Nintendo's, NSO stuff, right, is all legacy
yeah,
content. PlayStation's extra tier is all older games, and then the premium tier, the highest tier, is the legacy content: PS3, 2, 1, Vita, PSP, um, and it revolves around that, but it's not their primary way of getting people engaged in the ecosystem. Whereas Microsoft's
hmm
primary way to get people engaged in their ecosystem is through Game Pass.
yeah,
And when you revolve your entire business plan around a subscription model and make it the primary source of revenue instead of an additive source of revenue, where Microsoft has found themselves at, it's just the vicious cycle. People are going to wait till their games come to Game Pass. Game Pass isn't growing; it's actually shrinking. They've actually lost subscribers. Um, I am going to confess on this show, I actually unsubscribed to Game Pass this month because I realized the last 6 months I have not used it. I have not used Game Pass once in the last 6 months. I've been playing primarily on Switch and on PlayStation just because that's where the games are that I'm playing. The only game I'm
Hmm.
playing right now is Destiny on Xbox, and that's a free to play game, so it doesn't require Xbox Live Gold or Game Pass Core or whatever they're calling it these days, or any form of
Yeah.
Game Pass. And um, I'm gonna buy Hellblade because I Hellblade is an important game, and I think it's worth buying instead of just wasting a subscription on it. And um, when Indiana and these games, like, you just start looking at it and like people are gonna pay $10 or $15 to play Starfield instead of 70. Well, when Game Pass isn't growing and people are only spending $15 to play Starfield instead of 70, you're not you're not subsidizing the cost of the development. And so what do you have to do?
Right.
You have to sell your games on other platforms. And yes, I think them I think more games are coming to PlayStation and Switch and Nintendo Successor. I think we're going to see within the next I think we're going to see at least Halo the Master Chief collection and a some sort of Gears collection on PlayStation and Nintendo Successor. I think you're going to see that. And I know
The
people don't
the
want to hear
the
that, especially what? What?
Oh, I was gonna
Sorry.
say, so that like the actual like first party
Mhm.
development,
Yes,
games, and the reason why I say the actual. Oh,
Yeah,
go ahead.
Xbox first party games. I think Starfield's coming
Yeah.
to PlayStation this year. I think Indiana Jones and Hellblade will eventually come to PlayStation. Um, I think Gears and Halo's legacy games will definitely come over at some point, especially if Xbox puts that Gears Legacy collection out at some point. That's been rumored heavily, right?
Hmm.
Um, and I think they're going to consider putting the new games on other platforms. I think Xbox as a brand is going to. I think this is Xbox's Sega moment, and I think if they are definitely making another box, right? And this is definitely different than Dreamcast, right? But I also think that the next Xbox is going to be a Game Pass delivery system, and so is your PC, and so is your phone app, and so is your TV app. And if you don't want to subscribe to Game Pass and you want to buy the games, you can just either buy it through the Microsoft Store, or you can buy it through Steam or the PlayStation Store or the Nintendo eShop.
And, and I really think, and this, like we said, this is probably an expansion pass title. I really think that Microsoft is hoping that if people who subscribe to Game Pass, that before those games get taken off, that people go and buy those games with the discounts. If they don't, they're hoping that for definitely the PC crowd, that if you don't want to buy it off of Windows, please buy it off of Steam. If they could Microsoft wants sale numbers for
Hmm.
their games. And at this point in time, if they're going to see sale numbers, it's going to have to come from the PC community,
Hmm.
because you already got a service. Um, like I said, people treat Game Pass like it's a rental service. If they don't like that game or it's not gelling with them, they're not going to play it. Which means that, yeah, you are getting free money, but what are you getting free money for?
Right.
Because they're not people are not getting no enjoyment. They just want to have the service in case
Right.
something comes on.
Right. And I've actually went through a lot of my subscription services this month and was actually like canceling a bunch of them. I think the only subscriptions I have right now are PlayStation Plus Essential, which is the base, NSO
Mhm.
expansion pass, expansion pack because I think it's worth it. Um, for the legacy titles alone. And then um, I, I have a couple Apple subscriptions because of just needing cloud storage and photo
Yeah.
storage and stuff like that. But I think the only subscriptions we have right now are Hulu and Disney Plus and Amazon Prime. I think
Hmm.
those are the subscriptions we have, and I cut
Yes.
out a lot. And this is the first time I've unsubscribed to Game Pass since it was released. It's the first time I've ever unsubscribed to Game Pass. And I I honestly don't know when and if I'll resubscribe. It Xbox has to show me a lot that they are turning it, either they are turning this around or they are done, right? Like that.
Mhm.
And I'm saying that as an Xbox fan. I love playing my games on Xbox. I prefer the controller. I think, you know, the interface is great. I think the
Yep.
uh I just think it's a better user experience in general. I love the backwards compatibility upgrades that they've made for classic games. I
Yep.
think, I just think I just think it's Xbox is just, I don't know, man. They've done a lot of great things and they've done a lot of bad things.
Yeah.
So
And
I
I
don't know.
think, I know we're gonna be wrapping up soon, and I think that's why with NSO, like me and Jack, like, still I still go back to the article with me and Jack talking. It says just like with NSO, yes, you do get a lot of systems and the expansions and stuff, but NSO is also giving you um international games that just never came out in America. And I said for Game Pass, if I was going to subscribe to Game Pass, I want games that got completed but shelved and never released, or some Japanese games that has been completed but never came to America. Like, I want a different experience that I can't get nowhere else. And I think like shelf games will fit so well on Game Pass, because then you get to experience stuff uh from developers who had ideas, but it just didn't fully um and it was completed, but somehow they just never came out. If they could get the codes for that and make it digitally and put it out, I would subscribe to Game Pass so I could play those games and stuff. Of course, people be like, well, they should release them to sell. I'm like, well, but if you are going to treat it as a rental system for some people, why not play shelf games to
Well, I
see
mean,
why that game got shelved?
that's what they do, right? I mean, that's what most people do. That's what I do. I've been using it as a rental service essentially, right? I mean,
Hmm.
the games I love to play, I end up buying, right? Like Death's Door, or I'll end up buying. I mean, we've had this conversation on this show before, and man, final thoughts. I'm glad we took time to do this. Um, I told you indie games. If I like them on Xbox, I'll just turn around and buy them on Switch, right? Like
Yeah.
and like once games started really skipping Xbox, right? It just Shovel Knight spinoffs were the first kind of ones that I'm like, man, this is about to go south real quick. And so yeah, I don't know. I have a lot of concerns that I cannot spend another minute talking about this because it's going to take another 2-hour episode of something to just unleash
To
on.
get it
So
all out.
help me, get me out of here.
Well, everybody, that's gonna be it for Nintendo Power Block. Like I said, it was a gonna be a big family news. Thank you guys for the questions. Hopefully everybody had a great Mother's Day to all the moms out there. Hopefully you got to enjoy some great gifts and love from your children. and other family members and friends. But then everybody have a great week, have a great weekend, and we'll see you next time on Nintendo Pow Block. Bye everybody. Woohoo!
Goodbye.